to A Well-Designed Business. My name is LuAnn Nigara, and I'm so glad you found this podcast. Together with my husband Vince and our partner Bill, we have grown our company Window Works from the ground up. So I know and I understand the challenges you face in running your interior design business. I also know that your talent alone isn't enough to ensure your success. So on this podcast, we talk about strategies and practical steps to help you grow your business. But make no mistake about it, we have our share of fun here too, mixed in with those aha moments that I love so much. This isn't fluff. Nobody has time for that. Whether you are a new interior designer or a seasoned designer, I am here to help you create and to manage the kind of interior design firm that you dream of. It's straight talk and it's action. Are you ready? Let's get started. Hi, welcome to A Well-Designed Business. It's Power Talk Friday, and this Power Talk Friday is sponsored by Nancy Ganzekaufer and her Profit Insiders Academy. If you are a listener of the podcast, and then you know that Nancy is my friend, colleague, co-author in my second book, The Power Talk Friday Experts Volume 1, and that she has been on the podcast numerous times. I will link all of these episodes as well as the book and Nancy's own book, Lead with Confidence, in the show notes, okay? Now, I'm not only excited to have Nancy on the podcast again, but I get to have this conversation with her that builds on the conversation we just had at LuAnn Live. All right. So here's the thing. Nancy keeps adding value to the Profit Insiders Academy. And this is an exclusive group coaching program for interior designers and window treatment professionals who want to double or triple their profits to six figures and beyond. Okay. Here's the thing. Nancy teaches various business principles within the academy, and today she's going to focus her conversation on marketing. And if you're a fan of Taylor Swift, maybe, you'll find some things interesting here, right? I don't necessarily consider myself a Swiftie, but I am certainly aware of Taylor Swift's impressive marketing tactics. And this is what Nancy is going to be talking about today, digging in to watch how somebody else does marketing so that we can put that kind of spin to our own businesses. Love, love, love it. Can't wait to get into this conversation with Nancy. Here we go. Hey, Nancy, thanks so much for joining me on A Well-Designed Business today.
Hello, LuAnn. Nice to see you, or talk to you again, I should say.
I know. It's so funny because we are about a week and a half. I don't know. It feels like a year already outside of LuAnn Live as we're recording this. Of course, it'll air in a couple of weeks. And it's like what's so funny is we're all there, but it's so busy and so fun that you don't always get to have a good, long conversation with the people that you think you're going to. And of course, I did get a chance to see you and Leslie a little bit, like on Saturday night when we were putting together and different things. And I'm so glad that you guys were there with us at LuAnn Live and Profit Insiders Academy. I had such good feedback from people that, watched yours and Leslie's presentation and met you at your booth and so forth. And so, you got to meet quite a few designers there, right?
Oh my God. Your following is just such a generous crowd. Seriously. They are just so complimentary, generous, kind, nice. Everyone smiles, and you put off an event that makes everybody happy, right? And that's the key. And when you're happy, you can really be open to hearing new things. And I feel like we got to talk to a ton of people. And we're really going to get to help a lot more designers who are struggling. And that's really always my goal, right? It's not COVID anymore. Business is not just flying in the door. And I think a lot of designers are like, hey, wait, what? Like, I was getting a pipeline full without barely trying, for some designers, not all. And suddenly even those designers who had a windfall are like, the phone's not ringing as much, or it's not the right level of client for me, or how do I go back to getting my ideal client ringing my phone again? It's back to marketing. So I want
you and I know the
about
difference, but I know you are just like me. I've met a lot of business owners, designers, and window treatment professionals over the last several years that really all they know is COVID. Like they started their business in 2019 or 2018 or even 2020. And what's so funny, I had this conversation with somebody at LuAnn Live, a newer business owner, and just explaining to me, like, I'm really scared, like the phone's not ringing, different things. And I'm like, yeah, this is what it was like forever. Like, this is normal business.
This
Like
is
you said, we
normal.
got to work for it now.
Yeah, this is what you and I did when we first started these businesses and the businesses before
and the other
this.
ones before
Like,
it.
we worked our butts off, right? This is what we do. So, listen, I love the fact that the conference was health and wealth.
Yeah.
That is hugely important to me at this point, should have been important to me earlier. And I think that marketing smartly is really important so that you're not running yourself ragged, because in this market, marketing can take up a lot of your time. And it's a common question I get. How much of my time should I spend marketing? How much of my money should I spend marketing? You know what? Great question. Get on my calendar and I'll give you the answer, because I need to know where your business has come from in the past and where you should be spending your time. This is not a cookie cutter answer. Okay. This is not a course someone's going to buy and go, that's the right answer and it's going to make you money every time. Guess what? I've fallen for that too many times. I don't do that anymore, and I don't teach anyone else that. It's time to market yourselves kind of like the old-fashioned way, with the addition of old-fashioned is no social media when we were younger, right?
Right.
But
Now you
there's
have the
social
technology.
media. Right. So you can add that to your playbook, but good old-fashioned marketing also works too. So we teach all of that in the Profit Insider Academy based on your personality, your location, the type of business you run. Your marketing can be completely different from the person who was sitting next to you at LuAnn Live, or the person sitting next to you in my group program, right? So that's why it's so important to me that everyone knows it's not a course. It's a coaching program where you're actually getting individual attention. But today, I want to really teach them how they can look at celebrities or certain people in the public eye and go, how can I learn from their marketing techniques? And for some reason today, it's just Taylor Swift is on my mind. Because I saw the concert live with my daughter when she was, I don't remember, maybe 12, 14. And then this week, I also went to the movie with her of her concert, Taylor Swift's concert, that my daughter is actually flying to Ireland to see in person.
Oh my, you want to talk about a marketing genius. This kid and her team are marketing geniuses.
They're geniuses. So I thought to myself, what can I teach my Profit Insider Academy people about how you can learn from Taylor Swift's marketing techniques? What can you adopt that's actually realistic for you, right? So let me ask you something, LuAnn. If you think of Taylor Swift and you think of designing a room for her, now I know you're primarily window treatments, but what would pop into your head just about what would a Taylor Swift room look like to you?
Well, I mean, I would say, first of all, I'm fringe Taylor Swift aware, right? So that's one of the reasons why I can tell you I know she's a marketing genius, because I'm fringe aware. I'm not actively following. You can't not know about her. That's number one, right? Number two, what comes to my mind is when I do think about her, like, I have not seen the movies. I'm not sure I would recognize a Taylor Swift song on the radio if it was playing, like, legit. And I know that's crazy because my daughters and my granddaughters are all into Taylor Swift. All the women who work for me are all into Taylor Swift. And I keep thinking one day, you should find out what's going on over there. Something's probably happening, right? But what I do know of her, because she is such a good marketer, is I feel like there is an authenticity to her that comes out, that she speaks from her heart. She writes her songs from her heart. And I feel like a person like that is soulful. I also feel like she's very kind of girly, right? I feel like when I picture her in cowboy boots and like some sort of mini skirt and some sort of white shirt with ruffles or frills. And so when I think about a room for her, it occurs to me that it's not going to be overly Hollywood, that it's going to be comfortable, but it is going to be girly and it's going to be soft. And there's probably going to be a space where, just the right comfortable space for her to write her music or play her guitar, right? Like that sort of a thing. Like, I just feel like it'd be quality and it would be beautiful, but it wouldn't be ostentatious like when we think of Hollywood glam, right?
Okay, so for someone who's on the fringe of Taylor Swift and not a Taylor Swift fan, that is literally exactly what I would say.
Okay.
So think about it.
But that's it. She conveys that, right? Exactly,
right? So borrow some marketing strategies from Taylor Swift because the entire world can imagine what a room that Taylor Swift would look like. Like you said, a comfortable spot to write her songs, maybe even on the floor because she's always on the floor writing songs, right? Maybe a spot where she can get out some rage because she tends to have a lot of anger, right? We'll talk about that soon. And just a really girly, comfortable spot. When I was at the movie with my 28-year-old daughter this week, there was a bunch of little girls who were way under the age that would know about Taylor Swift. But
I
what
know.
did Taylor Swift do? She came out with a movie of her concert. So now all these little girls, and this is just a complete sidebar, a funny story that I'll add, were all wearing sequin dresses.
Oh, I know. My granddaughter, 8 years old, went all dressed up with her entire brownie troop to the movie 2 weeks ago.
Right. They have their little glow in the dark, whatever things they're waving. My daughter looked at me and said, "Okay, tell me, would you have let me do that when I was a kid?" They were out of their seats, they're dancing and singing, and I thought it was great, right? Because they're little kids. But Taylor Swift has basically permeated every generation,
Yeah.
right? Because of the way she markets. So let's talk one. Obviously, her brand is memorable. What
Right.
makes it memorable? The fact that she is uniquely her.
Yes.
She doesn't give a flying hoot what anybody thinks of her.
Right.
She plays songs, writes songs about all her relationships. I mean, for a man to date her, I'd be scared to death. I really would. So, of course, I'm not suggesting that interior designers put their whole lives out there, right? But you want to make your unique brand memorable, right?
Mm.
And as a body language trainer, I also say if you're intimidated by networking, meeting new people, or you tend to be shy, wear something that draws attention. A
Mm.
beautiful pin, beautiful pair of earrings, a unique handbag, something that people can comment on, right?
Yeah,
So,
you
what
can have
does
a little
Taylor Swift do?
conversation about,
Oh my
right?
God, Taylor Swift's costumes, her outfits, the sequins, the way she performs with no fear
Mm.
of what people are going to think of her. She
Mm.
literally did an entire concert in the rain, right? She powers through
Wow.
difficult situations. So
Mm.
I wrote some notes down so I don't miss anything. One,
Okay.
she uses personal experiences to strengthen her brand, right?
Mm.
She puts out her stories and connects emotionally with her audience. When I tell you, she steps on that stage, LuAnn, and she just stands there.
Oh,
The crowd goes incredible and she absorbs the joy of it,
oh, I
right?
just got goosebumps. I just
Right.
got goosebumps.
Right? Because I think about myself when I stood on your stage and I thought, I didn't do enough of that. Like, enjoy
Mm.
the moment that I get to help all these people, right? That
Mm.
you get to help all these people. Your cousin does it beautifully, Eileen Hahn. She's like, she just has that joy. But imagine if an interior designer could really show their joy for
Mm.
helping people in their Instagram or in their Facebook or in their blogs or in their conversations that they're having at the schoolyard or at their networking events or their holiday parties or their barbecues. Really show joy. We are stuck in
Mm.
a society where everybody's complaining about freaking everything, right?
Mm.
And there's a
Yes.
lot to complain about. So why not be the Taylor Swift in your groups of friends, in your social media, in your for your following to make yourself the person that gives them joy and makes you memorable,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Do you want to be memorable but talking about your doctor's appointments? Or do you want to be memorable for talking about the joy of your jobs, right?
Right.
Nothing makes me happier than telling stories. Oh my God, I just got a thing that somebody tripled their profit. They're this and that. Like, that's what I want to talk about,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
But at the same time, you do share your struggles because
Mm-hmm.
you want people to understand you're human as well. And she does that also.
Mm.
Okay. So here's the balance: the public persona, happy perfection, but also I'm a real person. That's my
Yeah.
job, and I do it well to give you all joy.
Yes.
But I'm also a real person, and I need to show that as well because that's what makes me more relatable.
Right. Right.
Okay. And then when you're genuinely sharing, it really does create a sense of trust. She has such a connection with her audience. Like, literally, my daughter is crying on every song. Why?
Oh.
Because it represented a time in her life when that song came out, and she relates to every word, every
Mm.
experience. So, what do you want to do as a designer? You want to be able to tell stories.
Yeah.
Stories sell. I know you've had podcast episodes about story
Yep.
selling, right?
Yep.
What do you want to tell stories about? Your success stories, right? I had a client that had a similar issue as you in their kitchen, and this is what we did. Or I had a client who made a mistake and went this route, and I was able to come in and correct it. And the end result was whatever, right? So be memorable, be yourself, share authentically,
Mm.
learn to apply stories. This is one of the things you do brilliantly, right? You can always come up with a story no matter what anyone says. And I'm always like, wow, that's so impressive, right? An analogy or something like, right? You do that so well.
Uh-huh.
And that's something that has to be practiced. People don't realize it's something that you can learn. Like
Right.
you think of it later in the night, wow, what I should have said was, okay, so you register that. And you next time, I'm going to bring up that story. I'm going to learn to apply stories to different situations because stories are things that people can follow along with, they relate to, and it gets them to the finish line emotionally. That's when you can close them then.
It's true.
Okay.
And you can learn to do it. You can, and you should never think because maybe you witness somebody like me can pull a story out of my head no matter what I'm doing, who I'm talking to, and what I'm in the middle of. It's there's other things I can't do that I would have
Correct.
to practice and I would have to learn. And you can learn to be a good storyteller, and you can learn to bank your stories and know
Yes.
that this is a good story about how I achieve this for my clients. This is a good story how I achieve that for my clients. Practice them, get to know them, and then they can be pulled out when you need them because you're meeting how many different clients a year. They don't know that this is your go-to story when somebody doesn't want to
Exactly.
take your advice in a kitchen reno.
Right.
It's like you've got your story that you pull out. The last time somebody didn't take my advice, let me tell you how it
Right,
went.
right. And the way you say it is going to be the difference between you bragging and just getting the client to
Sharing your
emotionally
wisdom.
sharing your wisdom to get them to buy from you, right? I mean, the bottom line is stories sell and they
Yeah.
help the clients trust you. Of course, they have to be real stories. If
Yes,
it's a story you're telling and it's someone else's story, but it applies, just give the person credit. It's their
that's right.
story. I
Do
heard
not
another
pretend.
designer had an issue with a client, had the same issue, right? So
Yep.
you want to get the clients to trust you by sharing stories also, right?
Yep.
And get them to relate to where you're trying to bring them. They will trust you more. You want to share your perspective, your successes and your failures sometimes if
Hmm.
it applies, but not
Right.
too much of your failures if it's going to affect the client trusting you, right?
Yeah. Right. We don't want to damage our own credibility, but
Right.
you
But
know,
you know what? It's one of the things I did when I was first an art consultant. I framed something and I cannot believe the person bought it, but now I've learned so much and there would be, right? So this is kind of what I would have done years ago. Let me show you what we'll do now, right? That's
right.
okay because you're showing them that you've made progress and you've learned.
And also, if you have learned a significant lesson in that failure that you are now going to prevent this client from having, then that's
Yes,
an okay failure to share as well. I mean,
exactly.
like in window treatments, there's like a billion failures. And I always used to say to people, well, that's one of those mistakes that you make once. And I remember the last time I made it. It was like 28 years ago. And you
Exactly.
and I are not going to repeat that mistake because that mistake hurts.
Perfectly said,
Right,
right? A
right.
story that will, and that's also making you memorable, right?
Hmm.
Because they're going to remember that. Let's just talk about Taylor's use of social media. I
Right.
know it's insane the amount of social media she uses, and I'm sure she has people who does it for her. But a strong, active social media presence is important if you want to be more visible, right?
Hmm.
And I hate the word consistency because I probably say it 16 times a day, every
You
day as a coach.
consistently say, be consistent.
I consistently say, are you consistent with your social media? But think about how she shares high quality images, videos, and she is everywhere, as far reaching as she can be. I call it your marketing net.
Mm,
Get really good at one thing, your Facebook personal profile, let's say, which will get you a tremendous amount of visibility if you do that right. That's one of the things we teach. Your Facebook business page, not as much visibility, honestly, but your
right.
Instagram has tremendous potential if you're using all the neighborhoods right and you're marketing it properly and you're using hashtags and all the other fun things that we teach.
Right.
She uses every possible thing she can use to get her marketing net out really wide.
Hmm.
right? She also protects her intellectual property, which I know a lot of designers are, very focused on protecting their intellectual property. I think that's a great idea. But if you're sharing high quality images and videos of your design and your like progress and the completed projects, and try to engage with new potential clients, and even try to get your existing clients to get on a little video with you. Some clients love that, believe it or not.
Right.
Not
Right.
all, but you
Right.
could say, I'm going to do a quick little video. Would you like to be in it? Sometimes you can get that. Take risks and be a little bold.
Mm.
Okay. Because I think that designers mostly, not all, are nervous about complimenting themselves and showcasing themselves and
Mm.
patting themselves on the back sometimes. And you can do that in a very um, humble way if
Hmm.
you do it properly. Okay.
Right.
Right. So
Right.
showing your successes, showing also your collaborations. This is another whole category, right? She goes into collaborations with other songwriters, she does collaborations with lots of different people, different brands. Why wouldn't an interior designer do that if they have the ability?
Right.
Right? They can
Absolutely.
combine, they can be a brand ambassador sometimes for companies, they can be tagging companies. Designers are so afraid to do this, but I am telling you, it gives you more exposure every single time.
Hmm.
Right?
And
So
by the way, I mean, I know that you're a proponent of this too. It's not just the collaborations and the tagging of the different brands, but the boots on
other
the ground. Like when
hmm
a designer for an art consultant, a designer and a window treatment professional, designer and a tiler. Like, like 2, 3, 5 is bigger than one, and talk to each
yes.
other, tag each other, compliment each other on each other's projects and the part that each plays in their projects. Right.
Yes, huge, because collaborations are going to drive people who like your personality more than someone else to each other. There's
Hmm.
no problem mixing audiences. You and I do it. Me and the other coaches do it. You do it with a
Yep.
ton of other coaches. The bottom line is someone's going to hire whoever they feel can move the needle for them.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So there's no such thing as competition. And wouldn't it be amazing if every designer grabbed a designer from another state and
Yeah.
decided to go live on Instagram once a month? It doesn't have to be a
Right.
lot, once a month, and start talking about design.
Mhm.
Talk about design while wearing sequins. Talk about design while like telling stories. Like make yourself memorable, but in a really professional way that represents your brand and makes you feel good about yourself. I really, it's hard. Listen, being in the public eye, I have trouble with it sometimes myself, but it's brings you business, and if you do it authentically, it's something that you're going to actually have fun with. And that's the other
Right.
thing. Look at how much fun this woman has.
Oh, I know.
Everything she does, she's laughing, smiling, singing, skipping. She's doing all kinds of crazy things. Like she's having fun. What about having some fun for you guys? Right? Interior
Yep.
designers, you guys have fun. Showcase your fun. Show what's fun to you. Your ideal client will agree with you, right? So people are afraid to put out what really makes them tick because, oh, people are going to think this is stupid. Like my hobby is crocheting, or my hobby is, gardening, or I don't really want to show that. But trust me, when you show it, you can't believe how many people relate to it.
Oh, so much better. So much better. If somebody like look, there I just it's so funny that you brought up crocheting because somewhere in the last month, I'm trying to think where I've been, but somewhere in the last month, a designer said to me, "Oh my goodness, I love crocheting." And I looked at her like, that's insane. Like people do that still, right?
One of
Like
my
because
clients is, which is why I mentioned it.
right,
It's one of
right,
my
right.
clients that
But that's so
crochets.
cool because if I happen to be a crocheter, I'd be like, oh my God, like there's another one of us out there, right? So
Or
if I'm a
ever.
potential client,
Yeah.
yeah, I'd love to talk about with that with you and chat with you and then I also know that you probably would have a great respect and reverence for the beautiful blankets and throws that I've made, and they should be built into the design plan maybe. I mean, I don't know, you know what I'm saying?
They just know a little bit more about your personality when you say you
Yeah.
crochet. They know a little bit more about your personality when you say you're a gardener. They know a
Yeah.
little bit more about your personality. You say, I'm a gourmet chef on the side. I like
Right.
to paint. I like to do Sudoku. I don't care what it
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
It says a little bit about your personality and it connects with people. Anytime I put out anything about my personal life, it's like, oh, I didn't know you did that. I do that too. Da, 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 da.
Yeah.
Like it's a real connection. And I will tell you 90% of the people who end up on my calendar somehow connected with me on not just the business side, on something personal as well. There was something
Right.
that I said on stage or in a podcast, or that they went, you know what? I related to that,
Right.
right?
And that works for designers as well when they do that
Correct.
same thing, sharing those personal tidbits.
Correct. But I
It
want to
it
just,
attracts like people.
it does. And I just want to focus a little bit more on the collaborations, because the collaborations is what grows your audience. You can collaborate as a designer with manufacturers, with artists, like you said. You can even with local businesses. What's going to bring you
Right.
more local business than
Right.
collaborating with local businesses?
Hmm.
Um, Being memorable when you go to the hairdresser, when you go out to dinner, and having casual conversations. You're not plugging yourself. You know, oh, by the way, I'm an interior designer, and if anyone needs me, no, you're just like, wow, this place is beautiful. What a great job.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
an
Yeah.
interior designer, and I have to tell you, this place is decorated beautifully, right?
Yes.
It's a way of getting in what you do for a living without being too salesy, right? And you
Hmm.
just never know if the next person that that person's talking to is going to be like, I'm looking for an interior designer. You're like, oh my God, there was one here, right?
Right.
You have to look for these opportunities to talk about what you do. And Taylor does it incredibly well. So I kind
Yeah.
of just want to
Yeah.
go make your brand memorable. Okay. Tip number one, like
Mm.
Taylor, put out
Right.
some personal stuff about yourself. Take the risk, put out something personal about yourself on a regular basis. Be consistent, throw your net far. Clients will trust you more when you're being authentic in your social media. Try some collaborations. It will work for you. It will work for you. Every time I can get someone to do a collaboration, they're like, oh my God, they have fun and they start growing their audience. They make a new friend,
Right.
right? Collaborations help. So, marketing is a huge focus in the Profit Insider Academy. And by adapting some of these Taylor Swift inspired marketing strategies, I try to make when I teach marketing fun, because everyone's like, oh, I hate marketing. I don't want to do marketing. I'm like, you know what? Marketing becomes more fun when you actually get business from it.
Yeah, and it's a non-negotiable. Like,
It's a
you know what? You have
non-negotiable.
to it's just non-negotiable. You can't have a business and think you're not going to market it. Like legit, you cannot. That's just silly pants. That's just
Right. And
nuts.
you're really marketing yourself as a local business every time you walk
Mhm.
out the door.
Mhm. You
Doesn't
know,
mean
it's
you have to be
interesting.
dressed perfectly, but you are marketing yourself every
Yeah.
time you walk out the door.
You know, I love that you said when you're marketing yourself as a local business, right? It's so funny because we just had a colleague in Exciting Windows say every single time his family orders takeout, whether he orders it from home or he orders it from his office, no matter where it is, instead of giving his name, oh, it's Mike, he says the name of his company.
Oh, that's amazing.
Literally, right? So like Vinny and I order pizza every Sunday night. That's
Yeah,
like Sunday night dinner.
right.
So it's like if we said the name of the like now when he goes over the years, he goes, my kids, if I'm not home and my kids are ordering delivery, they say the name of my company. And it's like,
It's
so what
amazing. I
happens
never
is
heard that.
right. And so over the years, he'll get a phone call like, hey, we need window treatments for our restaurant or we need drapes for our restaurant. And oh, how did you hear about it? Well, somebody from your company orders once every month or 2 months. Can you imagine?
I
So
love
interior
that.
designers could do the same thing. Sally Smith Designs, you know, like you just
Right.
getting known in your local area. And to your point, if that hairdresser or that, you know, restaurant now wants a designer, or maybe they've got somebody sitting in their chair talking about a designer. It's like, you know what? Sally Smith Designs, I do her hair every month. Like she always makes her appointment under Sally Smith Designs. It's
That's
great.
I think that's a great tip. And you know what you
Like
made me
genius marketing,
it
right?
is a genius marketing, you know what? And you have to think about real estate agents, contractors,
Yeah.
painters, faux painters, artists. Think about all the people who would love to have a little exposure on social media, and you're going to give them that opportunity by
Yeah.
collaborating with something with
Yeah,
them,
I just think
right?
it ties right into everything you're saying with about Taylor Swift. She's
It does.
everywhere. So be everywhere in all the ways and all the things.
Yes, but I teach one at a time. Like literally
Yes.
get
Oh,
good
yeah.
at one. Understand why you're doing it. Understand how you want to present yourself on that platform. Then let's move to the next one and let's do that right? We're not going to
Yeah.
say, oh my God, you need to be on Facebook, Facebook business,
No.
Facebook profile, personal profile, business page, Instagram,
LinkedIn, all
Pinterest,
the things.
LinkedIn,
No. No.
all the different social medias
It's
that are
chaos.
now, it's crazy. We
Hmm.
want to just choose the ones that are going to make the biggest bang for your time and your buck. And where people check people out these days.
Yeah.
Where do they check them out?
So that brings me to the Inside Profit, the Profit Insiders Academy. Like
Hmm.
this is not like we're not downloading something, like this is an ongoing coaching program.
Correct.
So, and to your point, it's very personalized. So, one person might feel really great on TikTok, another might feel really great on LinkedIn, another one might feel really great on Instagram, another one might not love any of it. And you're going to work with them to figure out what's best for them. Tell us more about the Profit Insiders Academy, Nance. Will link in the show notes when you've been on the show before and talking about it. But I feel like each time I talk with you about it, I learn a little bit more or a little bit different nuance about how you help designers grow their business. So tell us about it.
So I'm glad you ask me about it every time because we're always adding new things. So we just came out with the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool. Oh my God, the testimonials we're getting on that is incredible. They're getting their top design fees higher than they've ever gotten before. So we have now added that to one of the things people get when they join the Profit Insider Academy group coaching program. It's a little bit like a mastermind and it's a lot about coaching.
Hmm.
We're starting in January of 2024. Once again, early January, and we have added, Leslie Myrick to my coaching team, right? So
I
Leslie and I
know.
coach the Profit Insider Academy groups together. We have a business helpline, which is our walkie-talkie app that you and I use to chat with each other, LuAnn.
That's
All
it.
my clients get direct access to my cell phone and through the walkie-talkie app called Voxer. We call it a business helpline. Not only do you get my phone, but you also get Leslie's.
Nice.
Okay. So you can leave us messages separately and get different answers on different things. We try to say we have different specialties, but in the end, either one of us can answer your questions.
Mm,
Imagine coming out of a consult, feeling uptight, not sure you did the right thing, and being able to press a button and talk to me.
I know, right?
Okay. Imagine a contractor riding your butt and you don't know how to get them off you, but you don't know how to fix the situation, and you get to press a button and talk to Leslie or I, right? We help you through difficult situations. We give you the confidence to press send and have that appointment with the client to go over your high priced design fees because you deserve them.
Mm,
Not most people are not making what they need to run a profitable business comfortably with a balance between their work and their life.
right.
And that's what we've incorporated a lot into the program. So you get the business helpline. You get a one on one strategy session with me to start you off in the beginning. So I really get to know you, your personality, your goals, your pricing, and your service models. And yes, we get that all done in one first session.
Wow.
And it's twice a month group coaching, small group. I go between 5 and 15 people only. I try to keep it where everyone is getting personal attention every single session. They're about an hour and a half each, twice a month. You get, we added if the first couple of people who apply and get accepted into the program will also get an additional one-on-one with Leslie. We added that for
Oh,
this time. Um, I do a once a month live Q&A for my essentials clients only. That's where I have a membership site with all the lessons. The Profit Insider Academy people have access to over 100 lessons. They can learn in the middle of the night if they want to, but I
wow.
like to guide them through. It is scripts, it is PDFs, it is SOPs, it is your finances, your sales, your marketing, operations, staffing. We have a category for everything that runs your business. You can self-learn at any point you want for what's going on in your business at the moment while messaging me, but you'll also get a special lesson every time you have a group training. Okay.
Nice.
All right. So you get the essentials, you get a private Facebook group, you get the business helpline, you get the one on one strategy session, you get the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool, which really can help you price flat fee, hybrid, or square footage, which I really recommend the hybrid, but this tool can work with any way you charge your
Wow.
clients. Okay. I also have a new thing that we added, and you'll laugh at this. So there's a Nancy GPT. So I have thousands and thousands of videos of me teaching. You're going to be able to go into a bubble and say, how should I charge a client who says blah, blah, blah? And if I have spoken about it in public, that chat GPT will give you the answer.
That's crazy.
I know. It's cool, right?
That's crazy. Wait, so time out. So is this like an actual technology thing that you would
Uh-huh.
put all like,
Uh-huh. I have a public Nancy GPT, which public people who don't pay me can ask questions of. I have to figure out where that is. I have to ask my staff, and that'll come from only my public videos. But my clients, they get to Nancy GPT from all my sessions
that's so
that are
clever.
not super private. They can't be the super private, the one-on-ones they don't get access to. So they can say, what should I charge for shipping? What should I do for this? And if I've ever answered it in any of my videos, it will give them the answer and point them
OMG.
to the video, and they can play me talking and watch the video itself.
That's amazing.
So Nancy GPT is now part of the Profit Insider Academy.
Oh my God. It's like
And
the ultimate like glossary. It's like going into the library and having the index card glossary, but like it's
mm-hmm,
automated.
mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
incredible.
Yes. The other thing is we have inner circle trainings that aren't
Mm,
open to my membership site only. My essentials people are when they just want to self learn. They don't want to be part of the academy. They have a ton of lessons themselves. But the Profit Insider Academy actually has another inner circle training that I do higher level trainings for
mm,
as I see fit. So they're higher level financial trainings, higher level leadership and management trainings, because I've been managing people since I was in my 20s. It's one of the
mm,
things I love to do. So the inner circle trainings, when we hear something that somebody needs and it's at a little higher level than I've
mm.
provided in these 100 trainings and PDFs and downloads and scripts, we go and get it and we do it and we add it to the inner circle.
Wow. That's
Okay.
amazing.
So we have guest coaches in this program if we need them. I pull in what people need to be successful.
Mm,
We are literally within a month or 2 or 3 of starting the program. Most of our people are like, oh my God, I just got the highest design fee ever. Oh my God, I'm closing my consults, right? Because we're teaching them how to talk to people to get the sale and how to do everything and how to serve their clients at the highest level. Because,
mm.
right, less clients, more money, exemplary service is
Right.
what I teach.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
There's no reason to have 1,500 clients to make a living. 15 clients could be too much if you're a one woman show. So, how much do you need to cover you? Do you want to grow bigger? Do you want to stay small? We work with all different levels within the academy because we've added all these personal touches that we really become your business partner and help you make decisions. So, thinking of getting a new place, you're not sure if it's the right financial decision? Box for me, I'll tell you. Thinking of hiring somebody? I'll ask you a couple of questions. I'll give you my opinion, right? So, this is how we basically hold their hand while they grow their business to whatever they want it to be.
I love it. I love it.
And that's the
Now the
program.
thing is, I love it. And the thing is, and I at LuAnn Live, I met several people that have been part of your program, and they literally were like game changer for me. Game changer for me, have impacted my business in such a positive way as far as making more money. Just like you said, making more money, giving better service, having more life balance time.
Yes.
These are all the pillars of what you're walking interior design business owners through. What was interesting too is one of them was newer in business and another one was more seasoned. So it's not
Yeah.
only one group or another that you're able to work with. That's also
Well,
an
and here's
interesting
what's
point to note.
interesting. In my groups right now, I have kitchen and bath designers only. I have a cabinet salesperson only. I have 3 window treatment people only
Yeah.
in these groups.
Yeah.
And they say to me, like, is this going to work for me? Is this? I'm
Right.
like, yeah, because if I'm teaching a lesson that doesn't apply to you, I'm going to say to you, this does not apply to you.
Yeah.
You are going to do this instead because that's how good and that's how well I know everybody,
Right.
right? I
Right.
really
Right.
get to
And
know them.
business is business. You just have to make the correlations to get down the other road. Right.
Correct. So the differences might be in like pricing structures and service
Right.
models, right? So you adjust that, but everything else is basically the same. And what was cute is one of my window treatment people, who's in one of my just graduated, I think, or she's got a few sessions in her group left. She came up to me. She says, I'm going to take it as a personal affront if you don't fill this group because I am literally telling everybody how much you've changed my business and how much money I'm making, and how well I'm doing. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much. Like, it was so
Yeah.
sweet. So, yeah, I felt like I had a contingent there of people who have really doubled, tripled, quadrupled.
Yes.
Um, one woman 8 times her income within 3 months. I
Oh
mean,
my
sometimes
gosh.
I think the biggest thing, LuAnn, and I think you know this about me, the biggest thing I give to people is the confidence.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's the confidence. I can teach you how to do things step by step, but I've got to give you the confidence and be your cheerleader behind you to make sure that you have the guts. I literally leave Voxer messages, my business helpline, like, okay, go do that and let me know when it's done. And they're like, oh, darn it. Like,
Yeah.
and they do it. And they're like, thank you for giving
Yeah.
me the strength to do it. And those are the things that are going to change people's businesses and lives.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. So the thing is, it's as we're listening in real time, the next launch is January 2024. You have to apply. And when you apply, if I recall, there's a little form you fill out and you have a conversation then, because you want to make sure that you're a right fit and they're a right fit. Like, we're not just like throwing spaghetti at the wall. We have to make sure that
Correct.
people are ready to learn and that the gaps that they have are gaps that you know you're going to address. Am I
100%.
Yeah.
If I feel you're beyond the group and you need maybe one-on-one, I'll say that to you.
Yeah.
If I think you're not ready for the group because of whatever I find, the approach
Yep.
you're taking or something, maybe there's a stage in your life where you really don't have time to put
Right.
in a little bit of work to change your business.
Right.
I've been there. I can see that from a mile away. And I
Yeah.
will tell you, like, how about you join next year?
Yeah.
Give yourself, like, focus on your family a little more right now. Like, it's okay. That's part of the work-life balance. And I'm very honest and authentic about that
Yeah.
because I've done that my whole life, like you have.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep.
And then and then I have a broadcast channel where I actually have all my clients in one channel and I send them inspirational messages in the morning. Sometimes
Nice.
it's about health. Sometimes it's like, you know what, drink your water today, everybody.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I'm
yeah.
doing. Right. And they get to know me a little better and I get to know them. And then they send me messages back. Oh my God, Nancy, that's exactly what I needed to hear today. So I'm right there with you for a
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
And if you think about it, how could your life not change?
Right. Right. You have to be. It's like look. It could not change if you join a gym and you never go. You know what I'm
Correct.
saying? But if you're gonna go, it's like this, is like joining a gym and having a personal trainer for the whole year, because it's the accountability, it's the instruction, it's the feedback, it's the other people there learning from their experiences and their successes and failures. It's all of it wrapped up with the two of you and Leslie at the head of it, really teaching everything.
And that's the best part, what you just said, which I didn't even mention. These groups get to really know each other well.
Yeah.
They create their own outside groups outside of me, and they have conversations.
Yeah.
They come back to me and tell me what they taught each other. They're helping each other, and they miss that when it's over. So we give them opportunities to stay in the area with me, and we find other things to keep them together. But the sharing of ideas and the hearing other people's questions, because we always start off every session with a question from everybody if they have one, even though they have the business helpline and they've been asking me, they sometimes want to ask each other things, right? So we use the group as a little mastermind. What do you need? What do you want to ask everybody? And everyone weighs in, and I control it where it's quick, efficient, because I hate wasting time. I don't give anybody any homework that they don't have to do, and I don't waste anyone's time. I'm direct and to the point, and that's what's going to get you the biggest progress, the fastest in my eyes.
I love it. I love it. So as we said, if this is in launch right now, so if you're listening and you think that you want to be part of this next powerful year with Nancy and Leslie at the Profit Insiders Academy, what you're going to do is you are going to go to the show notes where you can get the links, or they can go to your website and get led to it through that. Right, Nancy?
Correct. NancyGanzekaufer.com. At the very top, there'll be a banner to apply to the Profit Insider Academy.
Right. I love it. So you can do that. You can go to the show notes. You could do all the things. I just think it's outstanding. And like I said, I'm literally just coming out of 2 weeks ago hearing multiple people tell me how much they have learned, how much they enjoyed the process of learning by spending the year with you, and how much profit it made. I mean, the Profit Insiders Academy is delivering on its name. That's the thing.
That's the goal. Everyone goes, well, I don't make 100,000 yet. Can I come in? Yeah, we're going to get you to over 100,000 net profit. I already make 100,000. Okay, what's your goal? I want to double you this year. Like, we go for the gusto, and if you put in the time and just do what I say, the best testimonial I ever got was really, honestly, years ago. It was like, if you just do what Nancy says, you can't fail. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. Like, that's so sweet. I know. Could you tell my whole life that? Yeah.
Tell all my kids, tell everybody that. Yeah. Just do what Nancy says.
Yeah, well, it may not
Yeah,
apply
it was
always to my
great.
kids and the rest of my life, but in business it does. So anyway, but thanks for having me on, LuAnn. I love being here. I love working with you, and I love helping people make more money,
I
and that's
know.
the bottom line.
And you're good at it. So thank you so much for always sharing your advice and your wisdom here. I appreciate you.
Thank you. I appreciate you too. Bye, everyone.
How creative for Nancy to encourage us to adopt Taylor Swift styled marketing strategies, right? You can hear it in her voice how impressed she was and affected she was by going to the Taylor Swift concert with her daughter. When Nancy asked me, how would I envision a room for Taylor Swift if I had to design it? Like I said, I don't really know. I don't really follow Taylor Swift. If her song came on the radio, I'm not 100% sure I would recognize it. I know that sounds insane, doesn't it? But the thing is, her marketing is out there. And I literally just took a shot at what I thought a Taylor Swift bedroom or room would look like. And to Nancy's point, like, she knows Taylor. She follows her. She follows her marketing. She follows what she's doing. And she's like, yeah, pretty much. You nailed it, right? And so that is the cool thing, that when what you are putting out in their marketing, in your own marketing, really expresses who and what you are, right? And that's Nancy's point here. So let's pick it apart. The one thing that she said, start with making yourself memorable. All right. Nancy pointed out several ways that Taylor does this, and one of them is storytelling. Share your personal experiences as stories, and you will strengthen your brand by becoming memorable and relatable. Now, Taylor does this through her songs, right? Her songs are stories that people can relate to, but your songs are the stories when you're with your client. Your songs are your blog posts. Your songs are your About You page. Your songs are all the messaging in all of the marketing. This is what Nancy is saying to you, is understand that in order to be memorable, you want to be connecting something and some things that are personal to you in these stories to your clients. Right? Now, if you're not a great storyteller, okay, but practice. I mean, I'm sorry. You can't just do the things that are easy. Sometimes you have to do the things that are not so easy, okay? You can practice a couple of stories. You can have some, right on the top of your mind that you're like, okay, when I'm talking about a customer service situation, I'm going to pull this story out. When I'm talking about how I resolved a problem with a trade, I'm going to pull this story out. When I'm talking about how I had two partners that, couldn't agree on the thing, I'm going to go pull this story out. Just practice them. Sorry. Take some work sometimes. That's the thing, right? Another marketing tactic that Taylor does that Nancy was telling us about is collaborations. If you know me, you know I love this, okay? There is nothing better than collaborating. My goodness, Nancy and I are literally the epitome of collaborations. This is exactly what this is. It's a sponsored show, okay? So Nancy is the one who introduced me to IDS, Interior Design Society. Do you know how many times I've worked with Interior Design Society in the 6 or 7 years since she introduced me to them? This is the secret sauce that she's talking about right here, okay? And what she talked about was you could join forces with a designer in another state. And I'll tell you, WindowWorks did this with Vita from Vitalia Inc. Kim and Vita had a window treatment Friday live Facebook show for 2 years. There's over 100 episodes, and each Friday for 30 minutes, they did discussions on teaching designers and homeowners the ins and outs of window treatments, okay? And they were doing it specifically to find clients for each of the respective businesses. And so at the end of each episode, they'd say, if you're in Philadelphia metro area, call Vita. If you're in the New York, New Jersey metro area, call Kim. Okay? So, you heard Nancy. Reach out to another designer in another state. Do collaborations. Teach people what you know. Okay? It's an idea. It worked for us. It could work for you. And I love that Nancy zeroed in on it. Okay? She also said that you can share when you've collaborated with companies, whether you're a designer collaborating with a window treatment professional, or a designer collaborating with a contractor or a tiler or a kitchen and cabinet maker. Okay? Whoever it is, think about who you can collaborate with that is speaking to the same audience, the same prospective consumer that you're not competing with, and that you will both gain exposure and make yourselves more memorable. All right? Collaboration that is authentic and fun is memorable, right? I think that it's a great way, and I love that Nancy zeroed in on it, okay? The thing is, you don't have to be a celebrity to have high-level marketing. You can do all of this. You can learn to tell all the stories. You can learn to show yourself with joy and be consistent in your social media. You can learn to do collaborations, okay? Nancy said that she gets this all the time. How much time should I be spending on marketing? And marketing is a huge focus inside the Profit Insiders Academy. In it, you learn both current and good old-fashioned marketing strategies. But as Nancy said, she wants to know you first, where your business is, where you've been in the past, where you're going to be going, what your goals are, because one size doesn't fit all, especially not in the Profit Insiders Academy. All right? Just like everything else, it's based on the factors of your location, your personality, the kind of business and the services that you offer. Nancy takes the time to learn all of these things about you and your business through the initial one-on-one strategy session. All right. And if you remember from the intro, I mentioned that Nancy is always adding something new to the Profit Insiders Academy group coaching program. One of those new additions is the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool. This will help you with flat fee, hybrid, or square footage that works in any way you charge your clients. And so far, Nancy has shared the testimonials, and they are insane for this. Okay. Her Profit Insiders are getting higher and higher design fees than ever before. All right. She said the Academy is both coaching and mastermind. And of course, I hope you know by now that Leslie Myrick is on her coaching team as well. Okay. In addition to all of this, you get the business helpline through Voxer. This means you can reach out at any time with any random question for either of them to help you with. You know me, I use Voxer all the time. And I'm telling you this gets you immediately to Nancy and Leslie's phone. All right. In addition to all this, we have the private Facebook group. And also 2 times a month, Nancy also offers small group coaching, okay? These are sessions so that she can offer the personalized attention that is beneficial to you, all right? On the membership site, you have access to over 100 lessons. I love this because Nancy does guide you through these, and you can jump to any lesson you need at any time. The next Profit Insiders Academy is launching in January 2024. All right. The first couple of you who apply and are accepted into this next program get an additional one-on-one with Leslie bonus, right? And if you would like to be one of these and be a part of the Profit Insiders Academy, you can apply at nancyganzekaufer.com/profit-insiders-group. And of course, the link is going to be in the show notes. You could just click on it. Okay. Remember, there is an application process because Nancy wants to make sure that you and her and Leslie are a good fit, okay? But once you're in, you have full access to everything she mentioned, including the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool. All right. Now, like I said, I was recently at LuAnn Live with both Nancy and Leslie, and I cannot tell you, I would say at least 3 different designers came up to me and said that they came to LuAnn Live because they were part of the Profit Insiders Academy and wanted to meet Nancy in person and Leslie in person, and literally just, I mean, couldn't sing the praises high enough for their experience in being in Profit Insiders. And so it was exciting to hear firsthand from designers who are in it how valuable it is for them. And of course, I didn't doubt it for 1 second. I've known Nancy for 7 years. I'm almost 8 at this point, but it was very special to hear it directly from interior designers. All right. So I encourage you to apply for this upcoming January 2024 cohort. All right. Nancy, thank you so much for coming on. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. I love what you are doing and how you give interior designers confidence in all the areas and help them maximize their profitability. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for joining us today, for showing up and listening. Here's to being the Taylor Swift of our own stories. Decide to be excellent. Thank you for joining me today. This podcast is a production of LuAnn Nigara, Inc. If you want to know more about me, my books, or LuAnn University, go to LuAnnNigara.com. And if you are interested in having WindowWorks help you with your next window treatment or awning project in the New York, New Jersey metro area, go to WindowWorksNJ.com to learn more. Have an excellent day.